3D printing depends on the file because it's based on material consumption and machine runtime. So depending on the size of the file, it will determine the amount of materials that are consumed, and it gets priced accordingly.
Okay, now let's say I go through with it. My 3D CAD file is completed. Why should I 3D print it?
3D printing gives you the ability to test your designs and to verify that everything works and fits properly before you actually go either to tooling or production. It's a great stage in product development in order to ensure that the end product really is what you want it to be, and it's also a great time saver and money saver because you can get a 3D print done extremely quickly, have the design in your hand to either show to investors or to show to your clients or to test it yourself, and it can save you a ton of money as opposed to going directly to tooling. If there are any mistakes that made in the file, in the process of the design, a tool is going to run you tens of thousands of dollars, whereas a rapid prototype can cost several $100 and fix that problem right away.
Okay, now roughly, do you know how many 3D printing processes there
are? That we offer?
Yeah.
There are about 4 main ones that we offer.
Okay, and would you guys be able to help me find the right one?
Absolutely. Depending on the file and whatever your needs are, as well as budget, each process uses, I guess, a different technique to build, and each one is priced slightly different because of that. But also, depending on your requirement, each of the several processes have their own benefit, whether it be high heat, accuracy, flexibility. Depending on what you need, we can custom tailor a solution to you.
Okay. How detailed is the print?
The print is printed at approximately 1,000 layers, which means 1,000th of an inch at a time. So each slice, each time the print head travels, it will lay down that material at those 1,000 or 28 micron layers. And there is also a high quality mode, which does half a thou.
Okay, now how do you print more than one material and more than one object in one single print?
If you're looking to do more than one material, the only system in the world really that can do it, you're looking at any one of the 3 Connex systems made by Objet, so either the Connex 260, the Connex 350, or the Connex 500. And that's it's a patented technology where it takes the different materials that are loaded into the system and it actually fuses them at a molecular level using a matrix. All the materials are acrylic based and they're all on the same foundation, which allows us to fuse the materials regardless of whether they're rigid and elastomer, and to create multiple shore strengths, or to even just use the parent materials as a multiple material build.
You just discussed strength. So how does the strength of our resin compare to the strength of, say, powder in other 3D processes?
The 3D processes that use powder are considerably more fragile than the resins. The simple fact of the matter is powder, by its very nature, aligns itself randomly wherever there's space, which means there's also a lot of air. So the points of contact is not very much. Or is not very extreme. So you're not going to get a very homogeneous part, and you're also not going to get a very smooth surface finish. What ends up happening is that when you apply a binder to a powder, it also changes the dimensions. So there could be a lot of issues with powder printing, whereas on the Objet printers and the PolyJet process, the UV light that cures the materials actually cures several layers deep, so you're getting full homogeny between the parts and between the layers.
Okay. Would you be able to discuss the cleanup process at all?
Yeah, the cleanup process on the Objet printers is extremely simple. Again, there's really 2 materials that are involved in the build. One is the model material, which will be your end part, and the other is the support material. The support material is there for any overhangs or drafts in the design. You can't build on air, so you're going to need that material there. The support material is a wax-like material. It's very easy to clean. It can be picked off with your finger. You can use an electric toothbrush and some water. The printers do also have an option for a water jet on the desktop printers, and it's standard on the larger systems. And the water jet is just a pressure hose used to blast the material away. Because the material is so soft, it comes off typically in under a minute, depending on the size of the part, and it's very easy to clean. And it's actually a biodegradable material, so if anything goes down the drain while you're using a water jet, there is no toxic or hazardous effects on the environment.
Very good. Now, let's say I get a 24 or 30 desktop in my house. Would it be disruptive? Like, I'm talking about the noise.
No, the Objet systems are very office friendly or environment friendly. They don't let off any sort of fumes or residual odor, and the noise when they're idle is very, very low. It's essentially just the sound of a fan. The fan that's in the actual printer, so kind of like a computer fan. And when it's printing, you also just hear a slight humming of the print heads moving back and forth, but it's very difficult to detect, and it's not at all disruptive.
Okay, a couple more. Can you use your 3D prototype as the end product?
Depending on what you're looking to do, typically we don't advise that a prototype be used as an end product, simply because the material properties are not the same as full engineered plastics. And again, prototypes are built as models to test fit, form, and function. They're not built to withstand the same amount of stress, strain, and usage as an end-use part or manufactured plastics. That being said, the ABS material is as close as you're going to get to manufactured plastic.
That's the new material, right?
Yes, it's an ABS-like material, and it is a digital mix, so it's a mix of two other materials, and it's as close as you're going to get. That could technically be used because ABS can be considered an end-use part. The rest of the materials, it's not recommended, and we also don't recommend using the ABS-like material as an end-use part because again, using manufactured or engineered plastics will get you a longer shelf life.
Okay. So what materials can you simulate?
We can simulate ABS, polypropylene, polyethylene, and then as well as elastomeric, so rubber and silicone products, and with the digital mixing that we can do, which again is exclusive to the Objet Connex builds, you can now take those two rigid materials, or the rigid material and the elastomer material, and you can mix them to create custom shores, which creates new materials in its own.
Okay.
We can also do clear materials and high temp materials.
Now, we discussed before about the resolution and accuracy, so can you just sound off of that?
Yeah, Objet has the most accurate systems on the market. Typically, you're looking at, with other technologies, anywhere from 10 to 13 thou on some technologies to even 4 to 6 thou. Our introductory desktop systems print at 1 thou, so they're already 4 times more accurate than anything else on the market. And they are essentially the most accurate printer on the market, with the exception of Objet's larger systems, which again have the high quality abilities, so they can do the half a thou build layers.
Okay. Could you talk about the print tray capacities and build envelopes?
Yeah, the build envelopes can range, depending on the size of the printer that you get, anywhere from a 10 by 8 by 6 inch build trays. So you got 10x, 8y, and 6 in the z-axis. And the way it works is the build tray actually drops down as you're building to give you that third dimension. So you're looking at anywhere between 10 by 8 by 6 all the way up to 20 by 16 by 8, which is a massive build tray. And in between, you've got a 12 by 8 by 6, you've got a 10 by 10 by 8, and a 14 by 14 by 8.
Okay. And last question, what kind of post-processing is involved?
The post-processing that's involved will really depend on what you're looking to achieve. Typically, Objet parts don't require much, if any, post-processing because of the high resolution. So there's no sanding, there's no polishing that's required, there's no finishing or curing. The part is fully cured when it comes off of the tray, and because of the high resolution and the high accuracy, there isn't much post-processing that's required. That being said, some people do consider the cleaning of the material or the support material to be post-processing, so that could take several minutes, however long it'll take you to remove that support material. And if you're looking to finish the part, to paint the parts are fully paintable, so the amount of time that it'll take you to paint the part is going to be your post-processing.